Okay.
It is a world of darkness. The sin of Cain has spawned the cursed horror that stalks the night in search of living blood. The kindred have long been a secret influence through all ages of human history, plotting against each other in a never-ending jihad. Their immortal progeny are among us to this day, hidden from the eyes of humanity by an elaborate masquerade.
It looks like we're ready to go. Give me a thumbs up for ready to rock. Nope. Bringing up the mics.
Simon is too.
Him and his water Mr. Darcy moment.
Yep.
Clearly, I need to watch this.
You do. It was a good moment.
Simon got you.
Also, I need some dice.
I'm actually prepared today. This is a first. I had my dice out, had my character sheet out. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. This is true.
I hit unmute, and for some reason, it didn't work. So it worked now. But
Yeah,
the main thing is I double checked. So here we are once again for we need like a cool name like Friday Night Bites or something like that, you know.
Vampire Friday.
Yeah, but yes, it is Vampire Friday. Doggone it.
What about Fang Friday? There you go.
Fang Friday.
Friday?
Yep.
Fang
Fang
Friday.
I
Fang
like that.
I'll
Friday.
allow it.
Thank God it's Friday.
Can I roll?
Thank
for-
God it's Friday. I like that.
God, it's
Yeah, thank God it's Friday. There you go. Okay. But yeah, but anyways, yeah. So we are back. One thing we forgot to do. I'm coming in really hot for my mic. Yes, is the XP
I
because it is the first of the month. Since you are eager beaver and got your dice out like an hour early, you are welcome to roll.
Oh, and look at that. A 4. So 5.
Okay. So 5 total XP.
Like that.
Oh shoot! It's my friend's birthday.
Pew pew. April 1st.
Oh, my friend's birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah, we were discussing if we get to claim unbirthdays.
Claim what?
Tech-
Oh yeah, do we get points?
Oh.
Did we
Unbirthday.
Several of us,
for unbirthdays?
several of us are having an unbirthday today.
It's an Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, gotcha. No,
oh,
but it is April Fool's, so thanks for asking.
Shucks. I tried.
it's a good effort. I think we should get bonus XP for that effort
I think so too. Gosh darn it.
for being daring in these trying
Yeah,
times.
for being daring. Okay. If you want extra XP, well, I'll tell you what. We will make tonight 2 extra difficulty on all of your rolls.
Oh, great. No, okay. I can
He's
do
just
without-
kidding. Haha, April Fool.
Yeah, April Fools. Huzzah! Anywho,
Fighting.
so now we've got XP out of the way, and while we're doing if somebody wants to do the recap, if you guys want to update your, actually we can't update characters. We started, we left off in the middle of a scene. So, does somebody want to do a recap for us real quick?
I can
Dale
give it a
handled
go.
it last time with his miraculous note taking.
Who-
Yeah, I just remember Lily. If she could have shipwrecked, she would have.
I forgot.
So we had we were trying to track down Jefferson. We scryed him and discovered that he was in an unfinished highway in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We talked with Trudy and we learned from Agea that is a Sabat like entryway in and out of the city. It's this like long tunnel thing that's kind of ensconced in the mountains. So we drove up there. We got there too late because we were coordinating a lot of stuff. By the time we got there, he and whoever was running the place had already skedaddled. So we decided to let's see. Yeah, then we reconnoitered at a goth club, which I don't remember whose it was. Was it Trudy's club?
It's Malcolm's club.
Yes.
Malcolm's
No,
club.
it is Trudy's
Oh.
club.
It is
Okay.
not Trudy's club.
Trudy is expanding and is becoming goth.
She married into it. Yeah, that's right, because we needed a drink. and
Texas
we were all
Texas
really thirsty.
corporate goth.
Yeah. Hey, those Texas goths are the
Yep.
most messed up because they ride horses and have guns. Yes.
I'm gonna cut myself, y'all.
Yeah. Tarnation if they come after my cattle again. I'll praise Satan. But yeah, so then the ultimate revelation, at least for Remus, is that Agea is actually a vampire and not a living gargoyle,
Right.
which is what he thought she was. But then we learned, or Lily admitted to Agea that she was Clan Tremere and that she did not agree with the atrocities that she had suffered at the hands of her clan, and it took pretty much everything Agea had to not throw down, and she stormed out of the bar.
Yes.
And we were all just kind of like left in the private room, kind of like, But yeah, I think that's all I wrote down.
That's pretty much what I remember.
Nope. That is a good summary. And where we left off is she had stormed out, and at this point, Trudy had been asking about where she went. And where we left off is some guy had confirmed that she had gone out past the floor. So it is still the same night, picking up right after the scene. At this point, everybody has kind of... Henri is still technically here as well. But everybody has just kind of seen that that particular bad scene with Agea. And her storming out very angrily, trying to contain herself.
So I guess we follow the instructions and see if we can find her.
Follow the instructions.
The bouncer told us where she went.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking, okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to do that, Duke. You know she has a cell phone, though, too.
Well, let's see if we see her first.
Okay. So, if I understand correctly, is everybody exiting the back room to go look for her, or?
Oh, Lily will stay put.
It was just me and George.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So Remus and Trudy, why don't you guys give me a perception and awareness check?
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty 7.
7? Okay, then I just got 1.
Okay.
Just a 7.
Okay. So Trudy, your group has been working on trying to get sneaky or sneakier and whatnot. So the first thing you think of is, okay, well, maybe she tried to be discreet and not overt despite her being angry. And so you kind of look around, you look at the perimeter, and you start to notice, because I mean, the place is pretty packed. And to give you a recap of what the place looks like on the inside, it looks kind of like a cross shaped like older chapels, kind of. The middle of the floor is like right in the middle is dancing. There's towards the back there's bars that line either side. of the length of the building. As you get out to the T kind of intersection, there's more group seating and booths and whatnot up against the sides of the walls.
Where's the private room?
Private room would be basically top of the cross,
Okay.
towards the back. That's where you would enter into like private side rooms and whatnot.
Okay.
But Trudy, as you start looking around, the thing that you pick up on that seems odd is the crowd off to one side, because it is kind of packed. You start to see that they kind of move in a way as if something was making its way that you couldn't really see past them. You know, almost like you would see bubbles kind of moving through sand and water, like those little, toy kind of things. When you flip them upside down, you watch the water leak to one end to the other, bubbles and whatnot. So you don't see anything, but you do see kind of the crowd kind of moving in that kind of formation, which stands out, at least to you, anyways.
I'll point it out to Remus and then just kind of start heading in that direction.
Yeah, I'll follow along.
Okay. So you start making your way to the crowd, heavy on the oonts, coming from the amplifiers, hanging from the ceiling and the stage, as the DJ is, turning the house music, and getting people excited to dance and whatnot. And as you start kind of wading your way to the crowd, it is kind of hard to keep up with it, being on ground level. But as you make your way towards the back section, which is basically where you kind of to keep the visual going, the bottom section of the cross, so the longer corridor section with the two bars on either side. Why don't you both give me the same perception and awareness checks, difficulty 7? Okay.
Just one.
Okay. So Remus, you're not having a problem keeping up with Trudy. Trudy kind of seems to know what she's doing. She probably still has a little bit of a puzzled look on her face because she may not be, she doesn't have a positive ID, but she does seem to be going in a direction indicating that she probably knows roughly where she might be. Trudy, you start looking around, and as there's not a crowd or a thick crowd of people to really weigh this out like it was before, you're kind of having to guess at this point as to where she might be. What?
I could use aura perception.
You could use aura perception, yes.
I learned that recently.
You did learn that recently, yes.
I was going to ask if there's aspects. I was just about to look up my vampire book real quick.
No, I don't know if you would have it. Maybe not.
Yeah. I keep promising that I'm gonna print out all my my Benedict gifts, but
And that is still perception and awareness, right?
Good question. Let me check. What level is your auspex?
2.
Okay, so you have our perception. Okay, just checking. And I think you're right. Let me check real quick. There we go.
For Sophie, but
it is actually for aura perception. It is perception and empathy.
Oh, I'll take that. Okay, difficulty. 6.
1 second. Let me take a look at maybe difficulty 8. But I need to confirm. Oops, page. Because I may have that. Oh, wait a minute. That's not right. Okay, so 142. Here we go. But that's not right. Doggone it. Yeah, it even says, say, see page 142 right here, and then that was all like celerity stuff. White Wolf, you failed. Oh, no, here we go. It's a sidebar. Gotcha. All right.
Obfuscate.
Yeah, I'm just wanting to make sure that I'm doing this right according to V20 because they've obviously changed some stuff. Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
So
the Jeopardy song.
your difficulty is going to be okay. So it starts off at 7, and then it's minus one way or the other, depending upon how many dots over the obfuscate they have. So you need a 10. 0. Okay.
That is, in fact, in that case, it would be a botch because I didn't even get a 10.
Okay. All right. So you are looking around diligently, attempting to find any sign of her, and the light from one of the spinning lights ahead catches you right in the eye and blinds you temporarily. Like you see like a total flash, and it's like all white. It's searing pain. Thankfully, due to your preternatural body, you're not going to suffer anything like a migraine. But if you were human, you probably would. This was not kosher. This was like somebody caught you with a high-powered beam at the right moment when you were attempting to stare for something. So that hurt.
Okay, so I will stop and kind of clutch at whatever wall or chair or whatever is close by and just kind of like hold my hand over my eyes.
Oh, okay. Remus, odd or even?
Even.
Okay. Give me a self-control check, Trudy. You're not like freaking out like frenzy or anything, but this is like how you would react to a sudden pain and stabilizing yourself. Difficulty 6.
That is a botch.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Remus, you were kind of watching her and following and kind of looking around, trying to keep your head on the swivel. You know, you knew you couldn't spot her, but you're like, okay, well, if she's in your mindset, you were like, okay, well, if she can spot her, maybe I'll look for other danger or something. And you miss the opportunity and like just start to pass her, and she kind of, you can hear her hiss and like reel in pain. And as she reaches out, she gets a death grip on your right pectoral, like right on the nipple, just thinking like she was trying to stabilize herself. And you can see like her other hand is like over her eye. You have I know you have a decent bit of stamina, but you also have fortitude, right?
I've got 3 dots in fortitude.
Okay, yeah. It doesn't hurt. It's just super awkward because I mean, like your clothing is like seriously like clenched. Like she got a hold of you tightly, but you are resistant enough that it does not hurt.
Like,
you grabbed a person, Trudy, but but they apparently aren't like freaking out or anything.
Can I let go quickly?
After about 5 seconds, yeah.
Okay, then I'll just kind of like pull my hand back really quick. Like, I do beg your pardon.
It's fine. Yeah, I don't know how Remus would process this, just other than just like dismay. But uh, uh, d- uh, d- mm,
I think I lost her.
oh, okay. Are you, I mean, are you okay? Were you
Oh, I just caught a eye full of something.
okay?
It's all right.
Um,
It's better now.
okay.
I'm not very used to using this ability.
Oh, I get it. Um, I guess should
Do you see anything?
uh I don't think can I so Jerome, can I use aspects to do heightened senses? Like because we she just drank some blood with us, right?
Mhm.
I want to see if I can smell like blood, like recent, because there shouldn't be blood on a dance floor. Like, can I use heightened senses to try to pick up the smell of blood? Maybe try to follow
You
that.
certainly can. Given the fact
Okay.
that she is obfuscated, it's good for you. It's difficulty 10.
Okay. Uh,
Well, how many levels of aspects do you have? Just the one?
I have a gripping one dot
Okay,
in
yeah.
it.
That's what I thought. So it's a difficulty 10. Can't get any higher.
Okay. And perception and awareness.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And
Alertness, actually.
No, it's
is it
awareness.
alertness?
It's awareness.
Awareness.
Is it?
Okay.
Yeah, if you're trying to detect somebody obfuscated, yes.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay. So I did roll 110.
Oh, nice. So that
Yeah.
do you have a 4 in either one of those stats?
No.
Oh.
I had 3 in perception, 1 in awareness.
Okay. Well, you
So I
got
know what I need to
one,
buy next time.
and you do pick up a faint scent of blood. Not from either of you.
Oh,
Can I try to follow it?
Because your nose knows? Absolutely.
Okay. I'll kind of like sniff the air, and I'll say I may have something. Follow me. I'll go ahead. I'll kind of move forward out of chest grabbing range.
Okay.
Um,
at least he wasn't a lady.
hey,
Good point.
I mean it's still weird.
Always that silver lining.
Yeah, because like I still probably look like I'm 18.
Yeah, you do.
Trying to cop a feel, man. All right, but yeah, I'll try to follow the blood smell as best I can.
Okay. You end up coming to the front door and starting to follow it outside.
Okay.
Where it is a little more prevalent because you're in the open air at this point and you don't have the competing scent of like alcohol and
nightclub sweat and perfume
and sweat,
cologne.
exactly, sweat, perfume, cologne, that sort of thing. Yeah, so now some of that's filtered in. You're getting a little bit stronger definition of whatever blood it was that came from the room.
Okay. And I'm guessing like I don't see, like if I just kind of scan around, I don't see her like leaning up by a building or under a tree or anything.
Why don't you give me a perception alertness check again?
Okay. Shouldn't have put these dice away. All right, here we go.
In the tower they go.
Okay. And same difficulty 10?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Trudy, would you like to try?
Sure. Am I trying regular or
No, it's still perception and awareness because you're trying to beat the obfuscate. But he's at least giving you a tip off that he's got a scent.
I got 2 10s and a 7.
Wow, nice. So do you have a 4 in either one of those?
This is not my jam.
No, I know. Okay.
Okay.
Yep, that is very accurate. Okay. But you got 2 successes, so at least as a combo, you guys were able to. Oh, hey, Davy Jones, what's going on, man? I don't think I've seen you tune into this one. Usually you're around for our superhero game. So yeah, so you guys, after he tipped you off that there was a scent, you're like, okay, well, maybe I can pick up on it too. And your more discerning Ventru knows to the efficiencies of blood, because you have your peculiar taste, kind of help you peek out a little bit, and you both start walking off to the other side of the outside of the building in the parking lot at this point. And when you walk a little bit further, you can see a shadowy form in one of the cars. The car's a newer Volvo. Still old, but newer Volvo, the station wagon type.
Dumpling?
So a head peeks up and like looks around, and it's Agea out of obfuscate, and she's got like blood coming all down her mouth.
Just kind of like wave, like it's okay. Is she like, are the windows rolled down, or she's just in this car?
No, she was like kind of in the car, but the front door was open, driver's side.
Okay.
Did we have an indiscretion, hon?
She like looks around, and she's clearly frustrated and flustered at everything that's happened. And there's somebody splayed out, in the driver's seat, and she just looks you, very frustrated. She says, I just wanted to kill something beautiful.
I'm gonna go up to her and give her a big hug.
Aw. Okay.
Just kind of like gather her up.
Okay, she keeps it together, but she hugs you unusually tight. You're kind of used to it, but I mean, for Remus, she's probably got some level of superhuman strength. You've gotten hints and seeing her fight occasionally, so she's got Trudy in like a pretty big hug, just like a.
Also,
she's kind of whimpering and doing that sort of like quiet, ugly cry.
Yeah, it's like, I think Remus is kind of like, oh, I should not, like seeing her like she's just killed somebody is like, he's a little bit like, oh, what did I walk in on?
See. Remus, can you go back to the club and tell somebody, some of the staff, that we need a cleanup out here?
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that. But before I leave, Agea, I'll just kind of like see if, like, I'll just say her name to see if she looks over at me.
Okay, you see some yellow eyes peer up from Trudy's shoulders.
Okay.
It has that, because the lights are on the outside, it has kind of that reflective look to it, like a cat's eyes sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna say, like, I know this is difficult, but I also I never said thank you for saving us. So thank you. If you ever need anything, let me know. I'll try to help. And then I'll kind of give them some space.
So she sort of, she's still hugging Trudy at this point, but she gives kind of and like nods and just buries her face in on Trudy's shoulder.
Yeah, I'll give her a warm smile, and I'll turn around and start heading back to the club and let whoever I can find who's like seems like they're down, like, hey, there's some stuff happened, and they need cleanup in the parking lot.
So you go.
Hope this works.
So define down. Like, you mean just somebody who works for the club?
Well, somebody who is like they get like I'm not gonna like tell a bouncer. I'm gonna go and talk to like somebody who like is like down with the sickness, if you know what I mean.
Actually, I don't. How would you define down with the sickness?
I mean, like somebody who runs in vampire circles. Like, so I would probably head back to like the area where we were like getting drinks and be like, hey.
So you mean you mean basically like one of your waiters?
Somebody who would handle the blood probably would.
Yes. I would like my first instinct would be like, oh, I need to go talk to anybody, but I'm like, I don't know if they know. I probably shouldn't know. Okay. I'm gonna head back
that's why I was asking. So you go back to the room at this point. So Remus, at this point, you guys come back into the room where the others have kind of been sitting and waiting. There's nobody in there just yet, as far as the service. There's a button you can press to have somebody come.
Okay, I go and I start tapping it a couple times, like urgently, like ding, 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 ding. Hey guys.
There's a new message at your private terminal.
Yeah. We found her. She's hugging it out. But yeah, and then when somebody comes in, I'll just be like, yeah, there's some dead. Can you send like people who are down with this to the parking lot? Trudy needs like some cleanup. I don't know. Like,
oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, it's not an emergency. Like we don't need to like alarms, but it probably needs to get taken care of sooner rather than later. But yeah, Trudy asked me to come in and get a cleanup crew.
Okay, well the waitress looks a little alarmed and she kind of scurries off real quick and she says, "I'll notify somebody."
All right, thank you. I'll just kind of sit down and be like, so, hey, how's it going?
Out of character is so you're like in the room where we were all at now?
Yeah.
Is that was
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm assuming you guys are still there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're just kind of left standing like what just happened.
So Ben's like, what's the cleanup?
So I guess she Agaya had some things to work out and had an impulse to kill something, and there's a dead person now.
Clean up on aisle 2 now. Okay.
Yeah.
You can take the girl out of the spot, but you can't take the spot out of the girl, right?
I have. It's still my first day. I have no idea what's happening. Like, yeah.
I just kind of look at him like,
really?
Yeah.
I swear, if we were playing,
the one who thinks that just killing human beings is fine whenever that's like an option for you. So
I swear, if we were playing Hong Kong action theater, this is my first day would so be your catchphrase.
It applies because Remus is learning new things. Like he's like, okay, I think I know what this thing. Oh, okay, I don't. Oh, okay, now I have a person living inside of me. Oh, okay, well now this is happening. Like, oh, there's werewolves. Oh, there's different. It's like, yeah, up to this moment, he legit thought that Agaya was a gargoyle, just like come to life. Like, yeah, this world is just it's like a fantasy novel. It just changes every volume.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, please continue in character.
I'm sorry, guys. This was my fault. Perhaps I should have just kept it to myself.
Yeah, I never could get it out of Scarlet like what the whole Tremere thing was. Everyone hates you and loves you and thinks your clan's amazing and evil demons at the same time. What's up with that, do you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know some of our history. Um, I mean, if I go to the beginning of our origins, we weren't we weren't part of Cain's troop. Our elders actually stole their powers from another. So that's some of the animosity towards my clan.
Uh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, this is stuff that they don't like to have mentioned. But then again, I don't like my clan, so that's why I'm here and not there.
Which sounds kind of strange because you said you were an assassin. Like, did you choose that? Or is
No.
that why you hate your clan?
No, I was taken and I was never meant to be a warlock. I was meant to just be a killing machine. And I was taken because of my innocence. I'm one that most people just disregard as being taken serious. So I'm easy.
So they
It's easier for
turned you
me
because
to
you're a wallflower?
not so much a wallflower, but as far as I don't look like an assassin.
You blend in.
Yes, to a
No
point.
offense, but that's kind of a weird reason just to embrace someone. But Sabat embrace hundreds of them as cannon fodder for battles. So who am I to say?
Tremere normally do not embrace just for to have somebody as an assassin. In fact, they
I
are a lot more stringent on who they even take in as a ghoul. But my sire had different
Mm,
plans.
is it normal for like this to like I mean, I've definitely killed more people now than when I did when I before all of this stuff happened, but like is it like I will like how, is do you do you just become desensitized to it the older you get? Like how does this stuff work? Like I'm still
but to
horrified by this.
killing,
Yeah, just like there's a dead
to
person now.
covering up a dead body. I mean, I think a lot of it comes with time and perhaps the company you keep.
Does it just like
Um,
do you just stop seeing people as people even though like we walk among them? Like
uh,
is
You don't
that
have
normal?
to.
you kind of yeah, you have to. You can't be worried about some meatbag getting in your way. Like you're the one that's supposed to take charge. Like, and I know that sounds callous and stuff, but I mean, consider the source of where I came from. Like, you can't always be worried about certain things, and that's kind of one of the things about the Sabbat is that it's sometimes a don't shit where you eat thing, but a lot of time it's also, well, I don't really care if you get caught. I don't care if I kill this many people to get what I need. So you're a product of your environment in some cases.
But you don't have to do that.
It's
Exactly.
not always easy. I mean, I still remember my first kill, and I still remember how I felt about it, and it didn't matter to my sire that I didn't want to do it again. He had a marker, and I had to take it out. And I think the part that scared me is I started to become desensitized to it, and I just wanted something different. And again, that's why I'm here.
For me, the path that I was set on was that if I was going to kill somebody, that at least it had to be somebody who had it coming. They had to be somebody who was uh, an abuser, or like a somebody who lived off of the misery of others. That if I was going to get this second life, I should use it so that way what happened to me and my mom wouldn't happen again. But like, I don't know, this world is so dark. Like it's
Yeah,
I
and
don't know that.
it's gonna keep getting darker. So, and you're just gonna have to kind of learn to accept a lot of things, and in some cases, you're gonna have to kind of desensitize yourself to some things. Like, for example, being this part of this life is gonna mean that there are gonna be dead bodies that are gonna happen. It's just a reality of what we are.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
if like I mean I'm not gonna pretend like I've never killed anybody. Like I've definitely, but in my mind, like all those people like had it coming. But I mean, just like the person who's in the parking lot right now, like I don't
didn't
know
probably
him.
didn't have it coming, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and again, it's the company you keep. It's an association. Like, I'm not excusing it, but I just got to get past it and move on.
yeah. No, I'm just trying to still, because like my sire kind of showed up, laid the commandments in front of me, and then kind of let me go. Very hands off parenting, but
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
that's unfortunately a lot of yeah. That's what happens. But don't worry, you'll figure it out. Just
Kid,
don't be judgy on those of us that maybe have been around a little bit and have become a bit more desensitized about it.
no. I mean, there's part of it I get, but yeah. It's just I want to. There's so much about this world I just don't understand. I just want to kind of have an idea of like the what I need to expect.
Mm,
That's
death.
all.
I think people like the president
Uh,
deserved a death, but the girl that they took did not.
right. Look,
And
kid, real quick. How do you feel about what you saw out in the parking lot?
Horrified. Didn't.
Keep that. Keep it. How you feel right now? It's the right way to feel. But you can't let it stop you if you have to do something. That's it. You can feel guilty. You can try to avoid that as much as you can. That's the right thing to do.
Hmm.
yeah,
Sometimes you just got to keep going. Yeah, it'll just take time. I mean, there's no use crying about it now. So,
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you guys.
yeah, no problem. Anytime you need to talk.
So there's a knock at the door.
uh, Damaris will go over to it and open it.
There's I would say probably on the older side of middle-aged man standing there. Looks like he's lean, kind of fit, in a suit. Not a tie though. But he does have like a matching suit, collar kind of open a little bit, and like looks around. He's got a kind of a very discerning look to it. To his face at this point, kind of looking everybody over. And he says, "I heard there was a cleanup."
Well, yeah. She opens it and looks at Remus.
Oh,
Clean
yeah,
up on aisle 2.
yeah. It's out in the parking lot. Trudy, I think, is probably still out there. Um, but and I'll do you want me to show you where it happened, or
Yeah, lead on, kid.
all right? And I'll I'll get up and I'll start leading the guy back out to the parking lot. I'll try to be kind of quick about it.
Okay.
Before the guy leaves, I just looking at the guy, I try to get like a once over to see if this guy can I tell if his skin tone is like kind of more ashen, like if he's a vampire or like just generally what his deal is.
So you
Roll
don't
a
have
percep-
auspex, but you are looking for obvious tells. Then, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Then give me a since you're having to do it on the fly, give me a wits and awareness check.
Okay. Okay, that's definitely a botch.
Okay. You don't really get a good enough look at him to make heads or tails.
Okay.
Outside of the fact that he just looks like he's a very no nonsense kind of guy.
Got it.
So just in my mind, I just imagine he showed up at the door with the plunger. But yeah, I'll lead him out to where Trudy and Agea were.
Okay. So you kind of follow and walk, and they when you get anywhere near the like bouncers or whatnot, they part immediately when they see that you're with this guy. And so at this point, you've been out here, it's kind of nothing's really changed. No one, and because you're standing there kind of consoling somebody near the car, nobody's really questioning it, Trudy. If anybody walks by, so thankfully you've got kind of that. It's fairly dark over here, so it's not like they can really make out a whole lot. But you see at this point, Remus comes walking back with kind of a rough looking guy. Business suit, looks a little intense.
Have I seen him before?
No.
Is this I'm talking to Remus. Is this the cleanup?
Yeah, I asked for some help for cleanup, and this gentleman's gonna help us out. Is everything okay?
Yeah, perhaps. I don't think we've met, sir.
No, Miss Maxwell, we have not.
Well, if you're one of Malcolm's, then I know you know your business, so we'll just get out of your hair, unless there's something you need from us.
No, I don't. Is there some place you can go to? Kind of motions to the two of you, and you've got some blood on you at this point from her.
Yes, I am also wearing that combat gear that we wore earlier. Incidentally, it is the
black outfit,
Umbrella Corporation
looking sort of tack gear. Yeah, okay.
So at least it's black.
Yeah.
So at least there's.
Were we walking through the dance club with you looking like an umbrella, like Hunk minus the helmet?
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, I didn't have that visual at all.
I don't know if you all would have put the two and two together, but that's what Trudy's been wearing today. So
is it? Because there were guys who were dressed like Umbrella in previous things. Okay, I think Remus probably would, because he's played video games now. He's done research, so I think he would.
Just so you know, if that's something that you wanted to bring up, that you could do that.
Although you're not wearing the Umbrella logo.
So anyway, I will head back inside, but ask Agea to cloak again, because she's gonna look kind of. If we can get her back to the back room, I'm sure Malcolm has a club shirt or something that she could put on.
So you see the man walk up. He rummages the girl for her keys to the vehicle. He pulls out something and puts it over the seat of the car, or the driver's seat of the car, pushes her over into the passenger seat, and drives away in the vehicle.
Honestly, I don't really want to know.
It's like Harvey Keitel's character in Pulp Fiction. If I have the actor right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have the actor right.
Okay.
The wolf.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Who he basically played the same character in La Femme Nikita, the movie.
Oh, okay. I just remember him from Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. God, I love that movie. But yeah.
So, yeah, my plan is to go back inside, see if there's a t-shirt that Agaya can wear that's not bloody, help her clean up, and then see if she'll
And yeah, they've got a club T-shirt. That's not going to be a problem.
and then see if she'll come back to the private room with us.
Oh no, she shakes her head if she gets the shirt. She's like, "Can I just go back to the ranch?"
You gonna be okay on your own? You want me to call Xandria to come pick you up?
No, I can take care of myself.
I know, but sometimes you don't have to. You're part of a family now. Again. Another family. Our family.
I thought that wasn't official yet.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. Just saying there's a place here if you want it.
Okay, but you're going to make me cry ugly and it doesn't look good. I'm going to ruin this T-shirt. Can I just go home?
Okay,
Please.
when you can go home.
Okay.
Text me when you get there so I know you're okay.
Okay. Can I sleep on the edge?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. And she just vanishes and
Okay.
goes away.
Okay, then I'll head back into the room again. Take a seat.
Loud music again as you eventually come walking back. Eventually the other two come back to the room. It takes, let's say, maybe 20, 30 minutes or so. I mean, they're gone for an extended period of time.
I hope your friend's okay, Miss Maxwell.
I think she will be. But I think this was bound to happen sooner than later, and especially if she's gonna stay in Ashland, then y'all are gonna rub shoulders, and best we get this taken care of now.
I don't expect her friendship, but I do hope that we can work together.
Be amicable.
Well, I don't mind telling you all that sometimes working with her is one step forward and two steps back, but I think she's worth the trouble, so hope you'll bear with me. And she's come a very long way, despite tonight's outburst.
You know, sometimes I think we're entitled to a little bit of little bit of emotion, I guess, even if it's something like that.
I feel it is warranted since my clan did to hers to begin with. So I don't fault her. In fact, I would be really surprised if she had reacted the way she did, but I felt
Well,
that it was best to get it out in the open because I would hate for it to happen if we were in battle.
Yeah, that could be bad and could be used as an excuse to take a swipe at you unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Well, listen, actions speak louder than words, and that's cliche, I know, but I mean, the best way, I guess, to make her believe that you're not part of them is to
Not be
demonstrate
a part of
it,
them. Yeah.
not be a part of them.
Yep. And I plan on doing that. I really want to be part of this family as well. You guys stand for everything I stand for. And I have made my decision to stay and
Hmm.
put down roots and be part of this group.
Times it takes a big sacrifice.
So what did we miss?
Not much.
Whole lot of nothing.
Pretty much.
You should put a karaoke machine in this room.
I
Karaoke machine.
do not sing.
I've never done it, but I've always kind of wanted to.
You can mention it.
I was just kidding.
So what's on the docket? What's next?
The little girl.
That's right. That's right. I had an idea.
She was turned, right? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It seems that way. It seems that way. Since she is now a missing person, I think it would be best if she were to leave town and let this all blow over.
Had mentioned getting a hold of my sister and seeing if we couldn't send her to Salem.
We could try that. It might be a little too close. They might share some jurisdiction. I had a thought. I have some property down in Tucson. I thought maybe we could ship her down there. Have my people take care of her for a while. The Anarchs down there are not exactly friendly with me. I sort of made a bit of a ruckus last time I was down there, but hopefully it's panned out by now that it was for the best, and I can make some phone calls. Is anyone opposed to that idea?
No, and if it doesn't work out, let me know. I can still reach out because I know my sister knows other people as well.
The only thing I'm kind of wondering is her presence going to bring Jefferson to wherever she goes? He chose specifically this girl to I guess re-bolster his group.
Yeah, but if he knows that she's compromised now, I mean, why would he still want to?
I mean,
I have to know that we've moved her and.
Should we see if we can talk to her?
It might be. Yeah. It might be worth it to know, like, why, if she has any. I mean, she probably doesn't, but I mean, why they turned her instead of killing her like they do the others? Like, that seems weird. There
You think
must
she's
be.
gonna know?
I mean, she might have more information about what happened. Like when she was there.
But one thing I would suggest also, definitely gonna need to change her name. She's gonna have to have new ID and everything.
What do we do about her parents?
She's a runaway that never has been found, unfortunately.
How old is she?
14. There's an Amber Alert. That's statewide.
Yeah, but not in Arizona.
Definitely not an ideal situation on any side. We stowed her with the shrink, right?
Right.
Does anyone have his number?
I do.
Do you want to give him a call?
Pull out the phone. go ahead and put it on speaker and give Jacob Prester a call.
Okay. So it rings twice, and then he picks up. Benjamin, a little late in the evening. Was there something I could help with?
Yeah, Doc, about the girl, I'm here with the rest of the crew, trying to figure out what we can do. Do you know how she's holding up so far?
She hasn't spoken much. It's clear she's suffering from trauma from the whole ordeal.
And how much has she been told or like informed about, her condition now?
I've given her the basics, which is very minimal.
Got it.
It's a lot for her to process right now. She was
Sure.
still asking for her parents, so I don't know how to definitively answer that. I don't know if any of you have gotten an update there outside of the fact that we know that there's an Amber Alert.
Yeah, we're trying to weigh our options right now, just seeing how she's doing. Has she said anything about her time with her kidnappers? Like, did they say anything to her? Do you know?
Not much. She hasn't been very talkative, but from what I've gleaned, I don't think she was with them very long.
Right, yeah. It's only been about a night or two. Well, gang, what do we want to do exactly? Like transporting her out of state? That could be a tall order. That's rough.
I have to go with Miss Maxwell's plan. I think it's the best kind of action so far. Change your identity.
We have a way to do that?
I don't. Hopefully one of you might.
I could have my people arrange it, I think, one way or another.
But there's also the concern of what happens if she leaves where she is going and tries to return here.
Yeah, she's got a mind of her own, and she's going to be 14 literally forever. That's rough. You're not supposed to turn a kid. That's shit.
Last resort is fortunately destroying her.
Definitely trouble. But it's trouble that she didn't ask for.
Perhaps this conversation would be best if you came to my office. That way we're not discussing this over phone line frequencies.
Sure. Makes sense. You'll see at least a few of us in a little bit.
If I'll be at my office.
Got it. Boop. End the call. Well, I'll go over. I want to talk to her, at least. See what's going on in her head. I trust the doc, but, know that she's got others. It's not just her in a new, strange, crap world.
I can go with you. I mean, I know what it's like to be suddenly taken from your family, so I have some understanding of what she's going through. I mean,
Anybody else tagging along?
I'll come along.
Yeah, might not be a bad idea.
Do we know? We know where this happened, right? You guys attacked them like at the place.
We don't know where she was turned, but they were
this-
doing a ritual at the YMCA, like they were going to make her part of their pack.
Oh. I don't suppose there's any other evidence or anything there that we could use to kind of figure out a motive or anything.
They just wanted a pack member.
Seems like they had lost Roosevelt.
Why
After
pick a
that,
kid though? Like,
well, she matches the description of who they normally go for to murder.
But yeah, but they specifically went and they turned her. Like that's the baffling part. It's like if this group is usually adult men, right?
I mean, do psychopaths ever make sense?
I mean, they have their own internal logic usually, right? To
There's
them, it
typically a
makes
pattern, yeah.
to them like it makes sense, I guess. But it's like we have to figure. I don't know. There's. I feel like
I don't know,
we're
Benjamin. You know more about them than any of us.
All I can figure is either there's something about her, where she lived, what her name is, something that they wanted to take and have a part of their group, especially since they lost somebody. It was a big joke to them, or I don't know. All the more reason to talk to her, see if she heard them say anything. So, anybody go and follow me, and I start headed out.
Okay.
she'll go with.
Okay. So, respectively, you guys go either pair up. Repeat how you got here. You know, either you guys paired up with one another.
I'll drive
Vehicle-wise,
with
or-
someone.
Yeah.
Since I don't drive.
Ikea was my ride, so I'll go with
Um,
someone else.
I think I came with Ben.
Yeah.
But didn't you have a car though?
Yeah, but I don't drive.
I have a single Dutton drive. I could drive you.
Good enough for me.
Either that or you're leaving the car at the club.
I mean, I'm sure it would be fine here, but
You have 0. Do you want me to drive?
please no.
But
Got my learning
once you guys decided the ride share situation, you go across town from where Club Drachenfugel is at to the nice, quiet, which is probably very warmly lit during daylight hours, area of Mr. Prester's office. Dr. Prester, I should say. It's a nice brick building. It's got a couple of offices next to it, all probably used for similar things, private, private practices or therapy sessions or whatever. It's like a 5 building or a 5 office building, not too super big. Couple trees out front that kind of provide shade. There's a couple street lamps, but the lamps here are they look more like you would find in the 1920s. They're not that old, but they're just that stylized lamp. Just kind of go with the neighborhood. When you come in, obviously the door is unlocked to the office. There's enough room for everybody to sit comfortably, but not with a whole lot of space. Obviously, the office is more for individuals or couples and the doctor, and not a whole party or whatnot.
Okay.
But he happens to be sitting there. He's put away some things in a bookshelf, and then motions everybody to have a seat.
Have a nice seat.
So I thought it might be better to do this face to face rather than over the phone, just for security purposes. I know some of you have encrypted phones. I do not, as of yet. So I thought it might be a good idea to nip that one in the bud.
Would you like one? I can have my people get you a crypt phone like the rest of us.
Oh, aren't you a fount of useful equipment? I would love one if that's the case. It would obviously ensure that our communication is much more secure, and I think that's probably pertinent. So if you're offering, I would love to take you up on that.
I will tell my people to Get with your people.
Well, as I don't have people, perhaps you could just have somebody stop by my office.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So I've heard some news that I haven't been able to confirm yet. In a tertiary way, kind of ties to what is going on. Apparently, something happened in Venice. Why Venice, I don't know. But apparently, there's some sort of an accord that's been met. And so long as the Anarchs maintain the, well, in essence, the rules of the Camarilla, which is, the laws of Cain, that the Camarilla is not, they're going to effectively leave the city alone, which brings me back to the next point. I haven't been able to confirm this yet. Apparently this is fairly recent, but that brings us back to the girl. This is a huge masquerade breach. Do we think that perhaps the Sabbat members just did this to, and as kind of a last-ditch effort to try and anger somebody else?
Could be either anger, could be just their numbers. Tough to say. Jerome, did the news indicate like what the little girl's name was? Do we know?
Yes.
Okay.
Her name is Elaine Grierson.
And out of character as well, just to clarify, the court in Venice, you said that was if the Anarchs do what? Like follow what? Just don't break the masquerade sort of deal, then they'll leave us alone?
No, it's the six traditions.
But that turns us into fucking can't. Never mind.
Like he said, he can't confirm the whole thing. It's something recent that happened, and he doesn't even understand why it was in Venice. But he just said that he's bringing it up because we have this problem in the city right now, so he doesn't know if it's tied.
Is that where Sophie went?
I think so, actually.
I'm sorry, the Baron's gone?
Like
Yeah.
For the moment.
Oh. Very well.
Is that a problem?
No, I didn't know Barons did that.
You know what? Neither did I. But it happened, so here we are.
Really unusual.
Maybe I'll make a call to Sophie later. Maybe she heard something about this.
No,
But yeah,
like something the tower would try to pull.
do they know about her? And she points to the girl.
Who is they?
I mean, really, the Camarilla who, according to their new rules or whatever.
I don't know. It just something like that reeks of a Camarilla ploy. Although it was the Sabbat that did this, so that's why I mentioned it. Admittedly, I apologize. I don't have a full grasp of what happened, so I could be wrong on some of the details. But my concern was that this was some sort of bait and switch.
Could have been.
All right. Is the girl like there in the room right now with us? No.
No,
okay.
no.
Okay. So
that would be rude.
Yeah. So anybody here have some sort of, mind powers to look in the girl's head, see if she saw anything? She seemed like she was in a trance pretty much the whole time. So,
Unfortunately, mine is not that advanced. My abilities.
Ditto. It's not my forte. I can find where you are, but I can't get inside that head.
At least not yet.
What discipline would that be?
That
Would that be Auspex?
Yep.
Yeah,
Whatever the
Auspex
Baron
high
had.
level.
Yep, that is Auspex.
aspects. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you could probably dominate her to some extent, but that's more like
That
that's
would
less
that would be
investigate-
brute force to
Yeah,
to
and it would
speak.
be
That could be
damaging.
more traumatizing.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
What about quelling? Would that make them more compliant to answer questions and stuff like that?
It would make her. And he says, I think I understand where you're going with that. It would make her
More at ease.
more at ease, but I don't know if she would still want to open up to total strangers.
Well, okay.
Especially if
awe?
she happened to be perceptive enough to determine that somebody was doing something. We don't know exactly why
Okay.
she was taken.
Do we know what clan she now belongs to?
I don't know any of that as of this point.
And she probably doesn't know either.
Yeah, how
Doubtful.
would we know? I'm not even sure what the clans were of the founders, to be honest with you.
Right, the way that Sabat
If-
share their
If I have, I guess the consensus, barring the bishop's ability to be here, I could attempt to probe her mind. I just am very wary about doing so because I am concerned
bishops?
about
You mean the Baron?
Baron. Sorry, I'm out of character.
Oh,
on
I
this
was like, wait a minute, what?
boat. I
The
could
Emperor's
I
coming.
could do so, but I am wary to poke around in somebody's mind because I value their privacy.
Well, it would
Yeah.
help to know
I f-
why they chose her.
I
if
feel
she
like
knows.
it's a necessary thing, though. I mean, it's not like you're hurting her. You're just a 14-year-old kid who got kidnapped by Sabat and turned and doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
could
So-
she be hypnotized?
That is possible.
I can't do that.
In
I don't know
in
how
the
that would even work.
In the conventional way?
That is
Do-
possible. Yes.
Do we know when Sophie's coming back?
No.
He didn't say. Not even sure if she knows.
Well, but I mean, the reason I asked is like, it would suck, but delaying this until the Baron can help, like, you know, because this is something she can do, right? Read minds. Like, I feel like it might be a bad idea for us to just send her away without knowing as much as we can, and I also don't want to be as bad as the people that did this to her. Like, preferably, I would like to, you know, if she's gonna be, if we're gonna bring her, I'm assuming, like, you know, if she wants to live in this life, you know, I don't think.
She doesn't even know what this life is yet.
Yeah, well, but that's what I mean is, like, you know, she had something awful happen to her. Us being awful back to her, I don't think that's going to make her want to see our side of things.
What if one
So-
or two of us talk to her and kind of get her to calm down so that then the doctor here can do his mind thing?
Wouldn't mind talking to her since I look
Mm.
closer to her age. I mean, I would be the closest one to her age.
How old do you look?
17, 18.
Okay. Oh, so we look about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think that she'd be willing to let someone poke around in her head?
Well, I
I
mean,
mean,
I don't know. I'm willing to do so. I just, as I indicated, I value, you know, my patient's privacy. But if the
Joey.
consensus believes that's the proper course of action, I'm happy to do so.
Why don't we just
I
ask?
I mean, why don't we? Yeah, maybe we should just start with asking, and then perhaps someone could sense if she's telling the truth or not. I don't know. I mean, I'm not used to interrogating 14-year-old girls, so you know, I haven't been through puberty in a very long time.
I can talk to her.
I think
Okay.
this is
Well, she's laying down in the other room, so I will go and get her. Miss Damaris, if you could do me the express favor of giving some blush to your skin.
Oh, yeah. Yes, she kind of. I forget sometimes. So she'll spend a couple
No, just one.
blood to give her a little bit of flesh of health.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, just one blood point.
Okay.
So he goes into the back, into a back room, adjacent off of his office, and then he slowly brings her out. She's in different clothing at this point. He found some doesn't really fit all that well, but clean clothing to put her in. And he says, Elaine, these are some of the people that found you, and they wanted to know if it would be okay if they could ask you some questions. They were the ones that brought you to me. So she kind of looks around, and he's being very reassuring, of her, and she kind of like looks at everybody, very carefully, and she says, okay.
It says, "Hey, Elaine, it's good to meet you. You've gone through a lot. This is a weird thing to go through. All of us have, one way or the other. So you're not alone, first off, just so you know."
You
Hey,
mean you
Elaine.
were all bit?
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, you're not the only one. We're all friends here.
Okay.
So there's some questions that we've got for you, and if you're able to answer them, that's great. If you can't, it's also okay. There's different tricks that we're all able to do, like magic tricks. You ever seen like a magician at a magic show?
You mean like Chris Angel?
More like
I
Interview with the
mean,
Vampire.
Oh no,
yeah,
I can't watch that. That's rated R.
okay.
She hangs her head like.
So
Like Vampire Diaries.
yeah,
Oh.
Sure.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the advertisements.
so it's just imagine you've got magic, but it's turns out it's kind of real. And different people like us can do different things. Like the doctor, he can actually read minds. Can you believe that?
So she's
Some of
like
us can do other things.
she's looking around and a little, a little scared at that point, and so he's like, no, I haven't done anything like that, but I do have that capability.
And nobody's here to hurt you. We're just here to let you know what's going on. Make sure you're safe. We also need to know why the bad guys did this to you. This is kind of sudden. It's not what they usually do. So
You know
first,
them?
met them before. They're bad men. They
Yeah, they weren't very nice.
Do you remember what they were saying or anything they were talking about?
Not really. There, some guy named Paul, I met him first.
Can I ask where you met him?
Oh, I met him at a comic book store.
Wasn't it Carl's Jr.? I don't say that.
I don't get it.
Yeah, don't do that because there's still time for me to order something. I was just playing Magic the Gathering, with a bunch of other kids there.
Do you remember what he said to you?
He asked me if I could sing the countries of the world. From Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Did he ask you to go anywhere with him?
Yeah, he did. And it seemed safe for some reason. I don't know why I went with him. He was a total stranger, but I don't know.
And where did he take you?
He took me to a house, I think.
Would you be able to remember how to get there?
No.
what happened at the house?
They did things. Things I don't really want to talk about.
That's
mm.
understandable.
And they bit me in places, and I got really weak.
Did they make you drink anything?
I remember my throat was really sore and chalky, and then
Did they throw you in a grave and make you dig yourself out? I'm sorry, maybe a hole.
no, nothing like that. I was
Okay.
I was they said something about we were going to a pool. I guess that was the YMCA.
Rebirth through water, which is weird for them. I'm gonna look over at Damaris. Do you remember any of the rituals involving water?
Rituals involving water?
Well, like rebirthing rituals?
No. Well, I mean, can I roll my Sabat lore or
Sure.
see if that's something that would be done
Wits
with
and
pools? Like,
Wits and Sabat lore.
it's a little weird. Sabat lore. It's not fair. I got 0.
No.
Stupid ones.
They should be banned.
Nothing. I've never heard of that before. In a pool, like normally you just throw them in a dirt, hole. Well, a hole, and you fill them up with dirt and let them. If they're strong enough, they come out.
Well, remember, that's a shovel head.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Well, some of
Sorry,
them
wrong memory, guys.
some of them are deliberate, right?
Yeah, some of them are deliberate. It just depends on the clan and depends on the situation and why they were embraced. I mean, Shovelhead is to refill ranks pretty quickly, and then if you're lucky, some of them survive and become part of it. If they did a pull, maybe they were just being a bit more specific and intentional with her.
And I have one last question. Do you remember going to sleep and then when you woke up, you felt different, maybe a little bit stronger.
Yeah,
Okay.
and hungry.
Okay. Do you understand what that means?
That I want a burger.
Mm, maybe a really bloody burger.
Ew.
Dr. Presser hasn't.
And he's just like shaking his head.
Okay.
Sorry. Damaris shrugs, like, what? I don't know how to talk to 14-year-olds.
I kind of pull Ben and Trudy to the side a little bit. I don't think she's embraced. I think they ghouled her.
There's a
Can
few
I-
ways to figure that out.
Can I aura percept her to
Yep.
see if I can tell if
Well,
she is a
that's what-
vampire
yeah,
versus ghoul?
That's
Yep.
what I was just gonna ask you to do.
Okay.
If you could.
So that is, I'm sorry, perception and
Awareness.
Perception and awareness.
Oh, stupid ones. Okay. I did get 2 10s and a 9.
Well, I'll let
and I got 1 1.
I'll let it stand. If you're checking for aura, if you're checking for obfuscate, it's perception and awareness, and that's where the difference comes in. Otherwise, it's perception and empathy.
Oh.
But
Maybe
don't
roll
worry
that
about it.
then.
You've already rolled. It's not a
Well,
big
I mean,
deal.
it's the same amount of dice, so
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. It is. You do see a pale aura.
so she is vampire.
Yes.
Yeah, she's not a ghoul. She has been turned.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I can tell by her aura that she's beyond that stage.
These guys have been around for decades, so they might just have different ways of
Embracing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying hello, making it official, or whatever that is.
Well,
So-
now we have.
Hey, Elaine, so here's the thing. Your life has kind of changed. Not kind of. Really has. I know you didn't ask for it. A lot of us don't. It just happens to us. You noticed you've needed to sleep when it's during the day?
Yeah, but I thought I was just kind of really tired. Keep in mind it's only been like one night.
Right. Yeah. Well, thing is, you're going to be tired when it becomes daytime now on. Like I said, you're one of us. I know it's rough to accept, but I'm just going to say it first. And again, we're your friends. We are all vampires. And now you are too.
I still got a Twilight moment.
Do I have to
She
be?
doesn't sparkle. No, you don't have to be. That could be changed, but I don't think you'd like that option.
That. Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's something that's permanent. It stays with you as long as you're alive.
Think of it like a special diet. You have a very specific type of food that only you can eat now. You have allergies to a lot of other stuff now.
So as you guys are breaking this to her, she's looking, a lot more worse for their wear and upset.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot.
Jerome, when like whenever I've entranced someone before,
Mm-hmm.
would it seem like they were more at ease afterwards, like they were more accepting of things that were said to them, or would that like kind of exacerbate certain emotions?
No, no. Entrancement is the passive way. Comedy aside, a good example of entrancement is the scene where Egon asks the character's like, "Would you like some coffee, Mr. Tully?" And he's like, looks at him, "Would I?" And yes, have some. Yes, have some. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, it's no big deal. It's just like, okay, I guess that's what sounds good. It's the passive way as opposed to brute force. I mean, they still have choice in a sense, and they're limited to their intellect. It's not, it's not as forceful as dominate, but in many ways it can, because they also know, it doesn't rewrite their memory. They remember everything. That's the other thing that's tricky about that level of you know what I'm talking about. Presence, yeah. That's what's tricky about that. You can't rewrite memory, so they'll remember it all. And when they come out of it, they'll be like, "Why did I agree to that?" sort of thing. Like, it doesn't. It seemed right at the time, which she's already dropped. A couple of at this point saying, she was told, "Oh, okay, well, come with me," and she's like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll go with him." I don't understand why, but it sounded good at the time.
Okay.
Same thing. Gotcha. So you'll still have that memory, but it does make them more compliant. Okay. And if you need them to, relax or whatever, you can kind of force them to relax too.
Okay. So I'll keep that in my back pocket for a second then. So she's just kind of looking like she's now a little more freaked out.
Yeah. And so Dr. Prester kind of puts his hand on her shoulder and he says, "Well, there may be another way."
Come again?
Another
way?
There may be another way if she so desires. It's dangerous and untested, but it is something that I have been working on. It's just not something that I have discussed with many people because of the ramifications. And even she's kind of looking at them kind of awkwardly. And she says, "You mean I don't have to be a vampire?" And he says, "Maybe."
Interesting.
What's this method?
It's a serum.
And what does this serum do?
Should we?
It is presumably a cure to vampirism.
Should we discuss this in private?
No. Cure, really? For this?
Hey, I'm gonna offer to like take Elaine to like another place. Like, hey, Elaine, I've never played Magic the Gathering. Could you teach me?
And she says, I don't have any cards here.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to think of like ways to kind of separate her from the group so they can have this conversation, like, because I don't know how well it's gonna go having it in front of her.
We can just leave the room.
Well, yeah,
You
but
can
like,
look it up on your phone, Remus, and she can explain it to you that way.
That's true.
Well,
I'll be like, do they have
go
an app
ahead.
for it?
Go ahead and roll charisma and leadership at this point.
Leadership.
Hello, Vancouver by night.
Okay.
Hey.
Welcome. You have come as everybody's attempting to deal with trauma.
Yeah.
Drama.
Okay, that's actually a good,
Llama.
decent dice pool. What's my difficulty?
Difficulty 7 because she's a little apprehensive right now.
Okay. Okay. I have 2 successes, a 7 and a 10. I don't have 4 dots in either of those yet, but so
Okay.
2 successes.
That's good enough. I mean, you kind of talked to her about going to the back room and getting her out of the way.
Yeah. Well, I want to just like kind of let them go someplace else, but I don't want to leave her by herself. So
Right.
I want to kind of like yeah.
That's kind of what I gathered. You're walking off with her.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll see if she's interested in ballet too. Like I went with magic because I knew it's what she wanted or what she's into. But like, I have ballet stuff if she wants to we could dance or something. I don't know.
She's like, ballet?
Yeah, have you never done ballet?
I don't dance.
I mean,
You don't look like you dance. That's weird.
I'll say really, and then I'll kind of stand in first position. I'll do like a quick. Yeah.
But you're attempting to keep her entertained or off the topic in the other room, which is fine.
Yeah, just trying to keep her mind in happier places
Sure.
while the adults talk about controversial stuff.
Okay.
So where did this serum come from?
Quite a ways back.
I've never heard of anything like this.
Nor
Has it even been proven?
I was close.
So you haven't actually turned somebody back.
Not as of yet. No, it has not been effectively tested.
So what has
Wait,
happened to your failures?
But wait, you're suggesting? I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that you were apprehensive about going into a 14-year-old girl's body or mind or whatever, and yet you're okay with experimenting on a serum that might turn her back.
Giving her
Trying
the
to understand
option.
the logic here.
Giving her the option, yes. There is a big difference between violating my patient's trust and giving them an option that does not doom them to an eternity of the night that she may not be ready for.
But you're also experimenting on this kid who really, I mean, she's gonna obviously try to do it. I mean, because she doesn't want to be what we are.
Curious as to what happened to your failures.
Well, that too, yeah. Sorry.
There have been no failures at this point. I have not had the opportunity to successfully test this because of the masquerade.
Oh.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
You know what? I'll let it be her choice. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, and she either is still an issue for us or is not.
is there a possibility that she could become something worse?
Or die?
Death is a possibility. I don't foresee it becoming worse, though.
Exactly.
That's not exactly how the blood works in my understanding of it as of this point. We're at a crucial juncture where she just recently turned. If there was an opportunity for somebody to abort this transformation, it would be while she still has functioning internal organs, which presumably she still does at this point.
Is this why you haven't
think they're still
fed her?
functioning? Sorry.
Is this why she
What?
hasn't been fed? You think
No,
that might have something to do with it?
I don't believe so. No, I think that is merely a matter of it's only been a night.
I'm curious as to whether or not she was embraced right before they tried to put her in the water.
Given what we've heard so far, I would say that's probably what happened. I am unfamiliar with Sabbat rituals, but
I've never seen it in water before.
It sounds very ritualistic. But back to the issue at hand. I mean, this is something that I had been working on for quite some time. This is not something that I just dreamed up overnight. But you can understand it's not exactly as if you can go just get, well, I suppose if you were the type of inhumane monster that some individuals are, you could randomly embrace individuals and test them out that way.
All right. How do you know if you're even close with this serum?
I have tested it out on my own blood. So I am aware that it does not work on any one of our ilk who has maintained this curse for any length of time.
So you need fresh blood to test it out on, or sorry, freshly embraced to test it out on versus old fogies like us. Okay.
That is the logical presumption here, yes.
Could you test it on her blood without testing on her body?
That may be an option, but
Except
we
she has-
are up against the clock, and I don't have a test sample that is not tainted by the current curse. So I don't know if that would be sufficient.
Well, we need to make a decision soon, because if she has not fed yet, she is going to get very hungry, and we do not need her frenzy in.
You know what? Just ask her if she's willing to try it, because she seems pretty willing, and if she's going to have any choice here, this might as well be one of them.
Because she doesn't know that she's going to be hunted forever for being what she is.
Right. And doesn't understand the fact that she's going to have to hunt herself to keep being what she is.
And that she can never see her family again.
Well, she can.
This is
But-
I know that this is not something that any of you were ready for, and I clearly have upset some of you, but as a doctor, this is one of the most logical solutions that I could provide. It's medieval in and of itself, and I realize there may not be any hope, but at least it's a choice that if it does work, maybe she can walk away from this with just the mental trauma of it all.
Well, let's find
Well,
out,
we could-
because we've left her with Remus and she has not fed.
We could ease that as well.
I
Because
don't think it's going to work, but I welcome you to try, and I will be amazed and impressed if you do. Truly.
Worth giving her the option. She's only 14, but
She knows what's right and wrong, and just maybe let her make an educated decision. Tell her the risks of it and just let her decide.
I'd go with that.
Yeah.
that is all I was seeking to provide, was another as humane option as I could.
Beats the alternative of the cam just killing her outright because of the abomination that she is due to her age.
Well,
I'm not really sure.
Do it.
True.
all right.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go get Remus and the girl.
So you guys are talking at this point about the app for Magic the Gathering. It hasn't gone very far, but she's at least shown you the app and the premise behind the fact that it's, even though it's on a phone, you know, it's supposed to be cards, you know, and you have a deck and so on and so forth. So some basic premises there that she's kind of showed you.
Okay. And yeah. So, and I'll tell her, like, so what you're saying is that blue is probably the best color. It sounds like it's the
She's like, no,
no.
red.
Okay.
Red is rad.
Okay. I do like dragons and goblins and stuff. That sounds cool. I guess because I was thinking of like, because when I think of magic, like casting spells, the blue one seems like, well, I don't know. I can make a deck of both, right?
You can have multiple colors, but it's best if you keep it to 2.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Hey, Lily.
Hi. Yeah, I'm going to be standing in the doorway just kind of smiling at their conversation. Hey, guys.
Hey, are you guys done talking? Do you guys need
Yeah,
us?
yeah, the doctor wants to ask Elaine something.
Okay. I'll say, come on, let's go talk to the doctor. Are you okay?
Who are you
She's-
asking?
I'm talking to Elaine.
She
Oh,
she
okay.
just shrugs. She says, I don't know.
Well,
Am I supposed to feel okay?
I don't I don't think you can with everything, but we're gonna do our best to we're gonna do our best to help. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll go over. We'll head over to where the group is.
Okay. So everybody, of course, is still, standing around. They've clearly had some sort of conversations. It's written in everybody's face at this point. And so the doctor at this point says, Benjamin, perhaps you could explain in easier terms where she's at right now, and I can explain the medicinal portion.
Okay. All right, Elaine. So, we hit you with a bombshell a few minutes ago. What's happened to you? The thing is, when you're first bitten, and then you start to turn, sometimes it can take some time. Your body gets used to being different, working differently. So there could be window of opportunity because you haven't been this way for more than a night or two. So you haven't necessarily fully changed. Does that make sense so far?
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a matter of it takes time. And well, the doctor here thinks that he might have an option for you. Essentially, you take a serum, and that might undo the changes that you're going through. Where then, instead of becoming one of us, you stay Elaine Grierson, human kid, playing a card game, the whole 9 yards.
Okay. Is it bad to be like all of you?
So there's
Well, that
rules
depends.
because there's more than just us here in the room. And, well, you being the way you are actually breaks one or two of those rules. Like, no one is supposed to turn little girls into vampires. It's, makes things
Just
rough.
little girls? Isn't that kind of sexist, or is it boys
Just
too?
young aged individuals like yourself.
Yeah.
Teenagers.
Why?
Because you're not an adult. You don't understand a lot of things. Sorry.
You want to be 14 years old forever?
No?
That's a pretty rough.
Well, you are now.
So,
Why? You mean I'm never going to get bigger?
Exactly.
So when you turn, you stay physically the age you were when you turned.
Hmm.
Elaine, how
Same
old do you think
scars,
I am?
same
How old do you
hair,
think I am?
same.
Oh, You look old.
How old do you think I am?
Like 40?
Yeah, I'm pushing about 75.
Oh,
How old do you
well,
think I
Same.
am,
that's really
Elaine?
old.
And Damaris looks like she's in her 30s. Yeah, she's older.
That's the thing. I was turned when I was in my 30s. So, whenever you're changed, that's the age you look for the rest of your life.
And she like looks herself over and she's like, "Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not good."
Puts things in a new
Right.
perspective, doesn't it?
Uh, yeah, I guess. I mean,
I mean, who knows? Maybe this serum will work, and you can grow up and then become one of us.
I'm just gonna look
If
at
that's
Not
really an
exactly,
ambition of yours.
so she's like, she has that kind of like puppy dog heard an odd sound sort of look like, eh?
We'll give you a flyer.
You know what? If you
We'll get
really
some
enjoy it that
literature.
much, we'll talk later.
You're gonna send vampire missionaries? That's what
No.
that's what you're gonna do?
No.
We could do like the army recruitment at like high schools and stuff. We could have like a booth and
You must be 18.
yeah.
Literally, you must be 18 to join this club. Like, otherwise, underage not admitted.
Get like the Mormon missionary vampire sort of thing. So instead of the badge, it just says, like elder so and so, and then the church. It has like their name, their clan. Would you like to talk to me about vampirism? Sort of thing on the badge.
Have you heard the good word of Cain?
You know what? There's many ways to recruit. Let me just say, she's already been exposed to it. So unless someone wipes her mind, she's gonna remember it.
We can do that.
So back in character. So she's like, I'm confused. So you can go back and forth?
No.
No. She was.
Is this a one-time shot?
I was just being sarcastic, and this is. I just need to be quiet.
Okay. Yeah, that's not helpful. Sorry.
I know it's not.
And I'll okay.
It's rough deal. We don't know if this serum the doctor has is going to work, but if it's going to work, you'd have to take it like now, because just recently changed.
Oh.
There's not a lot of time left.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, that's a lot to take in. I don't want to stay like this. I didn't even want to be a vampire. Even though they've got some cool novels.
You can still read the novels.
Well, that wasn't what I meant. No, I mean...
You can always LARP.
What? What's that?
It's where a bunch of nerds go out into a field, and that they I'll.
You weren't wrong.
Yeah. No, I'll just tell you, like, it's, I don't think you're done being Elaine yet. I think.
I would hope not.
Yeah. This world is different. Everything is different. It's really hard to try and be the same person you were. It's almost impossible. But
so what about this serum? What's the thing? Like is it like, I don't know, is it that FDA thing? And so like Dr. Prester is like, shaking his head. No, this is completely experimental, and it is something that I have worked on for over 100 years at this point. It is like what they say. It is something that has not been tested, so we aren't even certain it's going to work. But if it is going to work, now would be the time. And so she's kind of like looking at him, and he says, so There's really only 2 side effects, so we can kind of spare you that commercial where you hear like, a bunch of things at the end of it. It is either not going to work, and presumably it does nothing for the blood that is in you, or you could die. And she looks shocked, and he says, and I understand. There is something that the others have failed to tell you. There are rules about it's making is what it's called. It's kind of what they've hinted at, that about turning someone of your age into one of us. There are laws that we follow, kind of like the laws that you would see nowadays. Like, you can't run a stop sign, you can't just shoot somebody. And she's kind of like following along, although she's still looking really distraught. And he says, we do have a specific law that prevents this from happening, and it is very uncommon for somebody in your situation to live once found out. They're almost duty bound by this law to execute you because of a rule called the masquerade. And she's like kind of lost, but kind of following, and he gives a generalization of what the masquerade is, summing it up as in like, we're not supposed to expose each other to, the real world as she knows it. And he says, you understand, before this, you obviously knew none of us, and you knew none of what we are, correct? And she says, that's because of that law. We're supposed to follow it and not interfere in like that. We're supposed to remain hidden.
Profile.
Right. And she goes, okay. So kind of like the mob? And he goes, kind of like the mob in a way. There are the secrets. And she goes, okay. And he says, that is basically what they were trying to tell you, is that you're always going to be in danger if you remain a vampire, because, as you said, you're going to remain 14. And she's like, looks around, and she's about to lose it, but not like frenzy, but like she's losing color in her face at this point, and it's just really having a hard time with this.
Her brain's on overload.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And she says, but what about my mom and dad? And he says, if you become a vampire and you continue on, you could never see them again. You would never be able to go home. And so she's like panic stricken at this point, with tears coming down her face.
Can I like offer her just kind of put my hand out to see if she like takes it? Like just
give me charisma and expression at this point.
Okay, charisma and expression. Okay.
Question: how long does my blush of health from my blood point last?
For the scene, you're fine.
Okay.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty 6.
Difficulty 6. Okay, then just 1 success.
Okay. So she kind of holds onto your hand at that point as you offer it, but she's trembling, and she says, "So I'm going to die?" And he says, "Maybe, maybe not. We just wanted to present this option to you so you could make a choice. So for once, and if my colleagues here and I are on the same page, even though a choice was taken from you, you at least have a choice of your own that you could still take. And so she kind of like looks back and forth, and she looks at Benjamin and she says, "Is that right?"
That's pretty much it, kiddo. There's risks either way. So you've got either a hard, long life ahead of you as one of us, which is extremely risky, and you've got to leave pretty much everything else behind and learn how to live a new life. It's rough. It can be done, but like the doctor said, it's a big risk. You'd
And
have
you'll have
people maybe
people.
hunting you.
Well, you'll have that, but you also have people like us that understand what you've gone through to help you through what you're going to go through.
And if you chose it, we would try and
Protect
help.
you, educate you.
But you're supposed to kill me.
We don't
We
like
don't
killing.
want to.
Yeah.
We don't. Well, yeah, we don't want to.
I'm not going to.
But you have to understand that if you accept this life, it means that you're going to have to go to school basically and kind of relearn a few things on how to live, and you'd have help. You'd have a support network to help you through it,
Not a real
even
school.
though you aren't supposed to be here technically. You have to excuse me. I'm not very articulate, and this isn't my strength of comforting teenage girls.
But like the doc said, nobody your age is supposed to be like this. So anyone of our kind that you meet
Isn't going to understand.
is not
Yeah.
right. They know that. And so that's a very dangerous way to live.
Okay, hold that thought. I gotta take 1 minute bio break. Right back.
Same, might as well.
Converse.
I gotta pee, so
Keep
you know.
waiting for somebody to tell her she has to drink blood to survive, just to see her reaction.
Oh yeah, nobody's even mentioned that, huh?
I've thought about it a couple times.
I feel like grossing her out. Like I don't know. Like
That,
I don't know.
Like yeah, but like that's kind of been Ben's thing. Like that's the last thing he wants to like demonstrate to her if that was a thing, because
vision in
the
my
ultimate
head
freak out.
of us saying, "Well, you have to drink blood for the rest of your life," and she's grabbing the cure, going gunk 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 gunk.
I would really love for somebody to say, "Have you seen Twilight? You know what that's like."
I thought about it, but then
heard of Twilight.
Just to hear Demiris go, "You don't sparkle."
Yeah, we probably don't want her to think that if she goes out to the sun, she'll be okay. She'll just glitter.
Right. Yeah.
But
But
I thought about that, and then I thought, well, no, I'll use Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, that was a good choice.
There you go.
Although Trudy has again never seen or heard of Vampire Diaries either.
Right.
No, we're gonna have to have a binge night.
I don't know if Remus or like I know George hasn't, but I don't know if Remus is seeing Twilight or because all the movies and stuff he would have watched was stuff that his like mom introduced him to because it was kind of all like aside from school it was really the only other person he talked with. So
who was his only friend?
Yeah, no sparkling.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, she was his world. Oh no, we're just making small talk about how we're trying to relate to this girl and not horrify her or maybe horrify her. Like we're
scared straight sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of like, do we like? Is it better to like you want to drink blood like in order to like scare her closer to vaccine corner or
right?
Yeah,
which I think I'm gonna do. So since we go back into character.
So as you ended that off, Benjamin, why don't you go ahead and give me a charisma and leadership check. Okay. Difficulty 6.
One success.
Okay, so she kind of looks around to everybody at this point, and she looks to the doctor, and she says, "Will that medicine hurt?" And he says, "That I can confirm, no, it will not. And if you would like, I can even give you a sedative. So that way, all you do is go to sleep, and when you wake up, it will be all over one way or the other." And she goes, like, looks around, and then looks at herself again, and then, looks at everybody, and she says, I want to take the medicine, if that's okay."
Damaris nods. I think that's a good choice.
I do too. I think you're making a very wise decision.
So he turns and he says, "Then we have a couple things we need to do. We'll need to get you back to my place, and everybody, of course, can come. I have laboratory equipment there that I will need to hook you up, much like you would see in a doctor's office, so it's nothing odd or alien. And then we will start commencing with getting this taken care of."
Elaine, do you want us to be there with you?
She just kind of looks around to everybody, and she just nods. She says,
Okay. We can be there
"Yeah."
with you.
All right then.
This looks very uncomfortable. Like, oh, gonna show support for something like this? This is weird. She feels a little antsy, like, okay, I guess I'll go.
Well,
But
to
she's
support
really more
Damaris.
curious about the serum than necessarily about her.
I
but
could,
y'all
well,
don't know that.
I could totally see Damaris being torn on this, because Damaris grew up in a society, basically, where you were proud to be a Cainite, but at the
Yeah.
other end of the spectrum, the choice was actually taken away from her. So the honorable thing here really would be,
To let her choose and decide, but she's just
despite
not
how
she's not
disgusting
used
it
to
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually a great kind of, you know what? Give me a path check. Now that I think about it, give me a path check.
Okay. So I just roll my humanity.
You don't have humanity.
Or sorry, my path.
So
That's humanity slash
give
path, so
me
just
give me a self-conscious check.
Okay.
I just like flashback to like Brad Pitt in Inglourious Basterds, but it's like
one.
Okay. I will get back to you on that then, Damaris. All of you eventually. Oh, party of two! Thank you for the raid. Party of three. Party of two are from the LDS D&D group that I'm a part of. Super cool guys. They unfortunately we kind of play on the same nights, but they ended before us. They were running Pathfinder, I think, tonight. So thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. Yes, they run a weekly Pathfinder game, and they have kind of a talk show game news thing that they do midweek too, with us. So you can tune in for both. So
is that 2E Pathfinder?
I think so, or maybe 1E.
Okay,
but I don't know. It's one or the other, but it's definitely Pathfinder.
awesome.
So back to this. So, the rest of you, get in again your respective vehicles and follow Dr. Prester back to his haven, which is a big thing because he has never told anybody where his haven is. It is a single-story home that is in a very quiet neighborhood. It's very unassuming. There's nothing here that stands out. He's got the post office box, or he's got the mailbox out front. He even has a dog that kind of roams around the property and everything. Just makes it look as very, white bread as possible. When you get on the inside, the man loves his libraries. The living room could almost pass for a library. He's got 3 bookcases dedicated to just books. You get into the den where he's got, the lab equipment and whatnot, books all over the place, as well as, his medical equipment. So when he gets her set up, he gets the, IV going and whatnot. And he's got a bunch of journals left sitting around, many of which are weather worn and beaten looking. And he ends up going into his fridge and starts, pulling some things out that he's going to need for this serum.
Damaris will offer assistance to set up and whatever.
Do you have any medicine?
I have a dot in medicine.
Okay,
I could be a good assistant.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so here is how we're going to do this. Each of you are going to have 2d10 to roll, so you are all going to be a part of this.
Okay.
If you have at least 1 dot in medicine, you may add 1d10. If you have, let's see. So if you have a dot in medicine, or at least a dot in medicine, you can add a d10. So you'll be rolling 3d10 instead of 2. And
cults, intelligence.
No.
Is it drive or brawl or?
If you have an intelligence higher than a 3, I will lower your difficulty on your rolls from a 6 to a 5.
Okay. Let's deal with that.
So he is beginning to administer the serum at this point. Everybody go ahead and give me your rolls. If you don't have either of those, obviously you only have 2d10 and it's difficulty 6.
I got 2.
Okay.
I got 1, a 9.
Okay.
0.
Okay. What'd you get, Rachel? 2? Okay.
2.
All right. So, with that being said, she has been hooked up. She is currently sleeping and has been administered the serum.
Damaris is extremely skeptical, but very curious.
Trudy is watching very carefully also.
Yeah, so is Ben. Ben is looking very intently.
We're all just like, we got you. We're watching.
I'm just really hoping this works. Like Remus is like,
who here has? Let's see. We'll do this. Who here has the highest perception?
I have a perception of 4.
I have 4.
Perception 3.
So we have a lot of 3s, 2 4s. Okay. Lily and Damaris, why don't you roll 1d10 and let's see who gets the highest.
Okay.
Well,
4.
Okay. Damaris, give me a wits and alertness check, difficulty 9.
Oh, okay. Alertness. Difficulty 9. I got a 9 and a 10, so that 10 counts for 2, so 3.
Okay.
nice.
So as you are kind of watching this like a hawk and trying to determine just what exactly is going on, if this is going to work or whatnot, in one of the weather-beaten journals that he's got sitting out on his desk, I mean, there's several. And it's, very detailed notes. There's also some diagrams and whatnot, written up, formulas, so on and so forth. You see written on the inside cover of one of them laying out, El Pastor.
Al Pastor? Like, that sounds like a chicken recipe.
It's not the dude who invented pasteurization, Louis Pasteur.
I don't know.
I don't think Remus knows, but George kind of isn't. Is it like
Um,
pasteurization?
Okay. I mean, sorry, Rachel doesn't connect the dots, so
That's
Damaris
fine.
isn't going to connect the dots.
That's fine.
Yeah, because I don't have my notes with me. Okay.
No, it's totally fine. So at that point, we are right at the point of pausing for the night.
The point of cliffhanger.
Yep, the point of cliffhanger.
Kidding.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
And we are going to go into the next game, trying to find out just what exactly happened.
Cool. Just 2 weeks of not knowing.
Sophie may not be back next week.
She's gonna be a monster.
The world has not exploded by then.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, the next game per the schedule should be the 15th. Does that sound good for everybody?
Tomorrow's so good. Yep.
I'm animal sitting for some friends who have like the worst internet. I'll bring my laptop and try to join, but it'll be kind of up in the air.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want to be there if I can.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Be there.
Cool. Alrighty. So thank you guys for everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Party of Two. Thank you to Vancouver by Night. Davy Jones Show for hanging out with us again. And tomorrow night is our next game. That is going to be Modern Age Heroes, our superhero extraordinaire game. And that game will be starting at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then from there, it's actually back to the 15th and 16th. So thank you guys for all tuning in. For those of you who will be hanging out with us tomorrow, we'll see you then. If not, we'll see you next time. Good night, guys.
Bye. Bye.